Let's go to our guy on the spot, our resident Stanley Cup champion, our NHL Network analyst, and our Pens TV analyst, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Rupp. He is in PPG Paints Arena. This is not Nick Chubb. This is Mike Rupp.
Get that off.
Oh, a little skirmish at the end of the second here, boys. You got me? You hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, man. Tough second period there. I thought the Pens were in a good spot, and then mismanaging the puck, and the Rangers struck 2 times. So here we are.
Well, Rupper, I'm glad we have you on site here because I know you're working the Pens game. You're doing the pregame show and the postgame show tonight. And we wanted to take a little bit look at some of your keys to the game. You sent this over earlier. What's this all about? You seem to be focusing heavily on Chris Kreider. We know he's having this momentous goal-scoring year in this potential playoff preview we're getting here. What's going on? What is it with you and Kreider?
Hey, what do you mean? He's got 44 goals. He's got 44 goals, man. And I don't know. Gumps, what are you thinking, buddy?
Hey, that's good hockey, man. You want to stop the hot hand. That's just good. That's smart hockey.
And so far, they've done an okay job on him. Hey, how about your Italian boy, Frankie V? Frankie Vetrano has been a really nice add for this team, man. He's been scoring pretty much every game that he's been with the Rangers. So he's playing on that line there with Kreider and Zibanejad. So Kreider kept off the board, but his line mate Vetrano scored. So
absolutely incredible pickup for them at the deadline. And he was kind of that first move to kind of set things off. We all looked at it as kind of like a salary cap dump for Florida. And look what he's done. He's just lit the lamp for the Rangers and been quite the boost and quite the pickup that they needed. Rupper, how's it going over there? Where you at? You in the suite? You in the press box?
Press box level. I'll show you the view there. So it's press box level. Yeah, man, it's good. They you boys just missed it. They just had Renegade playing. They showed Ben and Mario standing next to each other in the suite. The place went nuts. And I'll tell you what, and I could joke around all I want about the Steelers. That's one of the coolest moments I've ever seen live when you're at a Steelers game and that starts playing, right? When Renegade starts going, everyone goes nuts. So everyone brought out the terrible towels. They're waving around. And then the Rangers shut everybody up real quick and scored. So we'll see if they can get that going again. The Pens in the third.
That is prone to happen. Of course, it is Big Ben Thank You 7 night in the Berg. They are all giving their thanks. The Penguins inviting Ben Roethlisberger out, honored him. Pre-game ceremony, he drops the puck. And, of course, they're down to the Rangers. Hey, but I was told that this Rangers team can't play defense and always relies on their goaltending. They look all right on D. I mean, maybe the Pens don't have the fleetest of foot going, but the Rangers like to trade chances. They don't necessarily like to dump and chase. They like to control the puck in the zone. This looks like a team that could do some damage in the playoffs. I think a lot of people had of the mindset, oh, this might be a one-and-done team. This might be get to the playoffs and first-round exit. This looks like, after the deadline moves, they look like a much more complete team.
Yeah, no, they added in the middle of their lineup. They got that Andrew Kopp. We obviously talked about Frankie Vetrano, the Tyler Mott, really a good depth player from your Cougars there, Gumpy. And man, they added some pieces. I'll tell you what, though, you're right, though, Nick. The way this game's gone, though, like the Pens haven't really had that many good chances. So the Rangers have been kind of stymie them in that department. But it's I'll tell you one thing, and I tweeted it too. Tristan Jarry and him and Igor Shesterkin might be an unbelievable playoff matchup for everybody. So I don't know. It just kind of stinks because I kind of like these two teams. I think can both do damage in the playoffs, and I hate to see either of them lose in the first round, to be honest with you, because that might be both those guys might be able to take out one of the big dogs in the Eastern Conference. I just don't think that's going to be the matchup that they get. It's going to be these two playing against each other.
Looking at the East, Rupper, a lot of these playoff teams are playing right now tonight. The potential matchups as they stand as of today for the Eastern Conference would be Florida versus Boston, Tampa Bay versus Toronto, Carolina versus Washington, and, of course, Pittsburgh versus the New York Rangers. every one of those is a highlight reel matchup. Every one of those is incredible television, incredible hockey, fast pace. It's going to be insane to watch these teams work through this gauntlet that is the Eastern Conference. And I think everyone thought, you said it to Boston Connor on Twitter earlier last week, and it's all he's been talking about, the Bruins being the hottest team in hockey. And here they are now. We find themselves, they're down 4-1 right now to the Leafs. I don't know if anyone saw that coming.
Yeah, I know. They have been hot. They have been the hottest team. You know what? This Leafs team, though, think about it from this standpoint. Like, they already beat they played earlier in the year.
5-1 now.
5?
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck off, dude.
Toronto beat them. I think 5-2 back in November, and then they play again tonight. And then I think the last game of the regular season they play against each other. So, but just think about it from the standpoint of Toronto.
Shout out FanDuel in the background.
What's that?
Said shout out FanDuel in the background there on the Jumbotron.
They got it. They've got to kind of slay that fucking dragon, dude.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, so I mean, this is like a playoff game for the Leafs, and so I think they really got to prove. And I'll tell you what, that Mark Giordano ad has been pretty nice for them. So they're defending right now, and I mean, this game's nuts. So I didn't think they'd blow out Boston, but that's how it's looking so far.
Hey, are they going to regret not getting a goalie because they don't do anything at the deadline? Brazic gets hurt tonight.
Yeah. So what happened? He got hurt early because I saw he was only in on 4 shots.
Yeah, his groin. That's all I read. I saw his left because of his groin.
I don't even know when Campbell's going to be back ready. So
Campbell's supposed to be back soon. From what I read, it sounded like he might have been able to go tonight, but I think they're giving him another. I think next game it sounds like they're putting Jack back in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's they got that Shelgren. See how that goes. You know, I mean, he's not. He just got his first NHL start not long ago, so I don't know how much you can count on him. But that's good though if Campbell's coming back. But this Leafs team, I mean, they've got to prove a lot down the stretch here. I don't know if I believe in them or not, but I think they're starting to finally be able to defend. It's funny, like you get Giordano in there, and now all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe it's like a D-man that actually takes pride in playing defense. So maybe it'll kind of spill over to the rest of the D-corps. So we'll see.
Speaking about that, taking pride in your team and defense, I'm looking over at the Western Conference matchups now, and I see a potential first round of Calgary and Nashville, LA and Edmonton, Colorado and Vegas. Vegas still alive somehow, and Minnesota and St. Louis. But I want to talk about Calgary. Daryl Sutter had some comments, Rupper. I don't know if you heard these, but he basically said he was basically kind of pumping up the tires of the Colorado Avalanche, kind of basically insinuating he knows there's an eventual showdown coming with the Flames and Avs, talking about how you don't want to be the wild card team coming out of their divisions because, hey, it's going to be a couple 8 days and then you're out. Really trying to overinflate the confidence of the Avalanche and maybe sending a message to his own team like, hey, let's wake up here. Let's get ready. It's go time.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know what? I remember, like, before the playoffs, it's gamesmanship. You want to pump up the opponent. Obviously, we always talk about, like, bulletin board stuff you don't want to give, but you almost want to overcompensate, and that's what he's playing a little games there, right? Like, let these guys, everyone's talking about them. Let them feel all sweet about themselves. But I remember before the playoffs, Pat Burns would come in the room. He's like, hey, we're giving them nothing. We're giving them absolutely nothing, and everything's got to be, and it's so over the top. Because Pat Burns, he doesn't give out compliments very easily. And he was like, you know, his interviews would be like, these guys are great. We got our hands full. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat these guys. It'll be a real challenge. And then all of a sudden you can start, and then the other team's coach is like, no. They're so good. They're so good. It's just like it becomes this tickle fest back and forth. And just want one of the other teams to start feeling a little too cocky, right? Like their head get too big. So I like Daryl's a veteran, man. He's been around a long time. He knows start pumping those tires early and often. So we'll see if it works for Calgary.
Hey, you mentioned the late, great Pat Burns. Rest in peace to him, obviously. And then quickly, a sad shout-out we have to do. Rest in peace to Ottawa Senators owner Eugene Melnick. It was announced this morning that he had passed away. I had no idea that he was ill or battling anything. And kind of a tragic situation there because the Sens have been going through some things recently. There was always a lot of questions about ownership there and the way they chose to operate. But by all accounts, he seemed like a great guy to the community. And it's anytime that happens so suddenly, it's devastating and tragic. So shout out to the Sens, the organization, and their fans. Hey, brighter days are ahead for that team. Hopefully they get the ownership situation sorted out and they're good to go.
Yeah, it's tough to hear that. I mean, a lot of that stuff was kept privately, understandably so, with Eugene Melnyk. And, he was always that type of guy. He was very passionate and a lot of times said some things. And that's where you got a lot of attention because of some of the outlandish things he said. But through this process, you start seeing a lot of the good things that he did behind closed doors. And I think that goes a long way, right? Like not doing it for notoriety, does a lot of things in the community. So, it's a big loss in the hockey world. This Ottawa Center. And one of the sad things I learned from this too, it's like, remember when they went, was that in 16? Was that in 2016 that they went game 7 with the Pens? Was that the 16 run or 17?
It was the second of the
second. Okay.
Yeah.
So they went, they were going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, right? Like game 7. And I learned through this, like Eugene Melnyk was dealing with some health issues then, and the Sens are everything to him. Like he kept that team there. He wanted to win more than anything, and he couldn't even enjoy that. Like he was going through treatment and getting stuff done. I think he was looking for a new liver at that time, a liver transplant, and he wasn't even able to enjoy that run. So it kind of makes you want this Ottawa team to put something together for them here in the future. And I think they got a bright future, and hopefully they can find a way to win for Eugene and everything he's done for that community.
Hey, we don't talk a ton of Canadian market stuff, but we're going to a little bit here tonight. We've already hit on the Leafs. We're talking Sens now, and let's real quick the Montreal Canadiens. Like, there's actually talk that like Marty St. Louis isn't the guy. Like, what's that about? I see people questioning, like, oh, shouldn't St. Louis stay long term? Like, this is a no-brainer decision to me. It's been exactly what you talked about weeks ago when he was kind of shocking announcement that he was going to be the head coach. He's given that team exactly what they needed. I see no reason to move away from that. It seems like he's figuring it out on the go, as you said, with the X's and O's. You can bring in an assistant coach to kind of help with that. But Marty St. Louis' presence has been like such a calming, invigorating, energizing presence. The Habs obviously not going to make a playoff run, but it seems to have restored a little bit of pride to the organization.
Yeah.
The players are playing again.
Yeah, no, if Marty St. Louis is not the head coach, I think he's going to be involved. And I think that's all part of it. Part of kind of the plan with Marty St. Louis anyways is that I think he wants to be a GM someday. And a lot of times these guys get into situations and they come in, they're involved in player development, that maybe they're the director of player development, they're doing scouting, and the evolution can come in different ways. And so I think he got his foot in the door here. He showed that he's got a lot of value. I'd love to see him still behind the bench. I'm sure there's a lot of players there that would want to see him there as well. But I think he's shown enough value there as far as this side of it, where he'll be a part of something. He'll be a part of things. I could actually see him, I don't know, almost being like a player development role on a more consistent basis. I think a lot of times these player development roles, they come in training camp, and then they check in with guys throughout the year. They're not there all the time. Maybe Marty St. Louis could be a guy that's there all the time and also learn the ropes and maybe get more of like an assistant GM title. But, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting how this ends up. But I think that he's definitely shown that he's of value for the Montreal Canadiens.
There you go. If you're watching the show, thank you, obviously. But also you're wondering what the hell's going on. It's Tuesday. Ruppers at the Penguins game. Why are they doing the show tonight? Why not their normal Wednesday time? It's WrestleMania week. It's fight week. Pat's got a massive match against that scumbag Austin Theory at WrestleMania. So a couple of the boys are traveling down. I think Zito and Brown are already on the road taking equipment down out of the office. So we're going to be Wednesday's a travel day for a lot of the boys. So we wanted to kind of do the show today. We wanted to still get something in this week, obviously. Rupper, I said, hey, I got to work the Pens game, but I'll come in. I'll do a hit from the press box. So that's why he's up here. That's kind of why we're kind of rapid firing questions at him right now, because we know he can't hang out all night. He's got real work to do. So Gumpy, you got anything for Rupper on your Stars here? They're currently out of a playoff spot. What's going on?
What is going on, Rupper? How do you lose 4-1 to the Canucks at home? That just
that hurts. I still think they're good. Yeah, they're getting your boy Miro Heiskanen back tonight. So he had mono, right? So it's kind of funny because our boy Rick Bowness said, we want to ease him back. We want to ease him back in. We're going to try to get him between 15 and 7. No fucking way. If you guys are losing that game, he's getting 20 minutes plus, and you're going to do everything you can. He's your best defenseman. So keep an eye on him tonight, because I have a feeling if this is a close game, this is what's going to happen. And we all know from playing sports, Rick Bowness, he wants to take it easy because he had mono, right? He's just coming off that. The energy levels aren't going to be there. But what he's going to end up doing is, if the game's close, he's going to go on the bench and be like, hey, Miro, hey, kid, how you feeling? What do you think Miro Heiskanen is going to say? I'm good, coach. Let's go. Let's go. And he's going to put him out there. And I'm curious. I have a little side bet with a buddy that he's going to get over 20 minutes tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But hey, dude, they're going to be fine. I'll say it again. We said this last week even. I think Vegas's route to the playoffs is through the Pacific. I just don't think that the two wild card teams are going to be from the Central. And Dallas will be that. So I think the only way Vegas gets in is if a team like Edmonton or LA stumbles. And the Kings lost a really ugly one last night to Seattle. Yeah. So
tell me about it.
Yeah, so that one was nasty, and they're banged up. So I still think Dallas is going to be okay. And now but they're shuffling the lines around like crazy, Gumpy. I'm sure you saw that. They're trying. I mean, theoretically, with Robertson, Hintz, and Pavelski as your number one line, wouldn't it just fucking make sense that your number two line should be Ben, Sagan, and Radulov? It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked at all this year with those three. So now it's like, all right, I think they moved Jamie Benn down tonight for line 3. So I think it's Sagan, Garyanov, and maybe Radulov. I don't know. They're just trying anything. They're trying to get anything to stick. They got to start scoring goals because there's a substantial drop off from that top line. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll make it. So Texas hockey is still strong.
Rupper, your pick for MVP this year, you got those great odds courtesy of FanDuel on Jonathan Huberdeau has a shorthanded goal tonight. He's within striking distance, within points. He's got 90 right now at third place in the league behind McDavid at 98, Draisaitl at 96. You still think he has a shot at the Hart Trophy where we are in the season with how good Florida has been?
Yeah, totally. I do. I do. You know who I'm kind of getting nervous about? And not nervous because he would deserve it, but if Roman Josi keeps up what he's doing, I think he might be able to take the Norris and the Hart. That's how good this guy's. He might get over 100 points. I mean, he might get over 100 points. But yeah, I mean, he's still kind of an outsider at this point. But yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau, a lot of the analytics crowd doesn't like him. A, because he doesn't score a ton of goals. But B, they have some numbers that they don't think he plays defense. Here's my thing. Not many offensive guys at the top of the league play much defense. You know what I mean? And so that's what makes certain guys really special. That's what makes, I know Bergeron's not putting up top-end numbers anymore, but, that's what made him special. That's what makes Sid so special. They do it both ways.
Ovechkin and McDavid ain't playing any defense.
They're not playing defense. And you could say whatever you want about Connor McDavid. He don't play defense. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
Hell no,
and
he don't.
So if there's a stat that's working against Jonathan Huberdeau, I'm sure if you dug deep enough, you'd find a stat to work against Connor McDavid as well. So, I still think he's the guy. I think what he does, look at it from this standpoint. Who's his wingers? His wingers are Sam Bennett, who couldn't get in the lineup in Calgary. He's a fourth liner. He was a fourth liner. And then Is it Duclair? Is Duclair the other one? And Duclair has been bounced around this league about 10 different times, and he's having an awesome year. He almost has 30 goals. My point being is Duclair's having a great year. Bennett's having a great year. What's the common theme here? You're playing with Jonathan Huberdeau. He makes players around him better. So he's still my leader right now, but who knows, dude? People get a little squirrely this time of year, get angry when you start saying things like who should win certain trophies.
Speaking of squirrely and certain trophies, I'm looking at the Rookie of the Year race because we were all heavy on Trevor Zegras early because of all the viral moments and his play. I mean, his play deserves it as well. It's not just the viral stuff. It's also just a great young player in this league. The two guys out of Detroit, though, have impressed, Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond. But there's a guy that no one is really talking about, I don't think, outside of Toronto, Michael Bunting out of nowhere with 50 points, leading the way with a rookie. Does he have any shot at this, or is it still kind of one of the Red Wings guys or Zegras?
Michael Bunting should have a shot at it. The biggest thing working against him is he's like my age. So no, like Michael Bunting's going to be 26 if he's not already. I mean, I don't know. You've got when you're going up against 18, 19-year-olds and you're that age, it's not the same thing. Like, man, these are boys still becoming men. So, plus he gets to play with Matthews and Marner. That probably works against him to some degree as well. He's an awesome player. He's had an awesome year so far. But I just have a feeling that Mo Sider's probably going to win the Rookie of the Year. He's been an absolute beast. And playing D as a rookie, it's hard. Not many young defensemen thrive before they're the age of 20, and he's been awesome.
He is a big son bitch. Rupper, one more here before we let you go. I know the third period's about to start. We want to let you enjoy that. CFO Phil, who was at the game with Little Phil, shout out Little Phil. He says, longtime listener, first-time caller, how does a team with the firepower of the Pittsburgh Penguins only register 10 shots on goal through 2 periods at home?
I lost you there a second.
How does a team with the firepower, the Pittsburgh Penguins, only register 10 shots on goal through 2 periods at home?
Their ability to come out of the defensive zone has been struggling tonight. They're just slapping pucks around. You know what? The one thing I think that we're seeing in this game, in particular, the Rangers are a little faster. So
I've seen that. Yeah.
I think the Penguins defense feels rushed. They're just slapping pucks around the board. And when you can't come out of your own zone clean, Rangers only scored there. You gotta gain speed in between the blue lines in the neutral zone, right? But if you can't come out of your zone clean and you're just chasing pucks, it's hard to do that. That's something I noticed in this game. So we'll see if the Pens adjust. I mean, I think they'll be all right. This will be a hell of a matchup later on. Hey, one side note. I ran into, I don't know if you guys know the name, Benoit Allaire. Benoit Allaire, the all-time great goaltending coach.
Yeah.
He was Henrik Lundqvist's guy. He's renowned, world-renowned goaltending coach. I ran into him up here, and we were just talking about if this was a matchup. And he goes, the East is tough, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. He brought up a great point. I never even thought about this. Let's just say, give or take a couple games, there's 20 games left for each team. He said if every team in the East, all the playoff teams, the 8 teams, go 500, fucking Chris Kreider just scored. Fuck!
No. Fucking Penguins, dude. What the fuck?
I'm just kidding.
If you're the
good for him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Rupper,
I'm sorry that stinks as a Pens fan, but that reaction.
If you're the Penguins, are you not worried if you get smacked by the Rangers back-to-back before a playoff series?
No, you are concerned. Mike Sullivan was pissed, and I think that's why, honestly, no jokes. All jokes aside, he blew up 11 spot on Detroit because he was pissed this weekend. So they got to have some kind of showing. There, I fucking told them on the keys of the game. It was pretty obvious, was it not?
They never listen.
So hold on. So anyways, I'll get back to my Benoit Allaire. He said if all 8 teams in the playoffs go 500 the rest of the way, there'll be, I think, 7 or 8 teams over 100 points.
Oh yeah,
dude. Remember when 100
Jesus.
100 points used like every playoff team in the East could have over 100 points. That's some scary good competition.
you're looking at playoff matchups that are going to be teams of like 110 points versus 110 points. It's wild.
It's nuts. 100-point teams. Well, I mean, it's changed a little bit, but 100. If you finish the year with 106 points, like you're one of the top 3 teams in the league.
Oh yeah.
You might have every team
Now everybody's doing it
around that. Yeah, it's crazy. So, anyways.
All right, Rupper, we appreciate you. We'll let you get out of here and enjoy the third. I know you got to brush up, do your homework for the big post-game show. Thank you so much for joining us and your flexibility with the schedule and everything. We appreciate it. And, hey, hopefully the Pens pull this out. I don't know what's going on, but I hope you enjoy the rest of Ben Roethlisberger night in PPG.
I will try. I will try. I turn my head and I get on Twitter when they put him on the Jumbotron, but whatever. It's all good.